Former President Trump now arriving in Milwaukee for the Republican National Convention. This, of course, a day after he was targeted in an attempted assassination. Eamon Javers joins us now this morning with more. Good morning.
Good morning to you, Andrew. We heard from President Joe Biden last night in a rare primetime address from the Oval Office. Just the third time that President Biden has given an Oval Office address. The President of the United States called for calm, he called for peace, and he called an end to political violence. Here's what the President said last night.
Disagreement is inevitable in American democracy. It's part of human nature. But politics must never be a literal battlefield, or God forbid, a killing field. I believe politics ought to be an arena for peaceful debate, to pursue justice, to make decisions guided by the Declaration of Independence and our Constitution.
Meanwhile, the FBI updating reporters yesterday on the assassination attempt against former President Donald Trump over the weekend. The FBI saying that at this point, the investigation indicates no indication that the shooter acted in concert with anyone else. The indication is that the shooter acted alone. They're also saying they're trying to determine now if there were any co-conspirators involved in this attack on the former president of the United States. No motive has been identified on the part of the shooter here in terms of any ideology associated with the shooter. They've been scrubbing his social media. They've been accessing his family, his friends. They say they've obtained his phone, but as of yesterday, they said they had not been able to get access to that phone. They're working with a forensic team to try to crack into the phone to see if there's any evidence to be gathered there. And as you can imagine, guys, this is a massive and intensive investigation into an assassination attempt against the former president of the United States. The former president survived, but this could have gone very, very differently, and we would be having a very different conversation this morning. So a lot of questions swirling now around the security posture for this event, the Republican National Convention here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, but also the security posture in Pennsylvania over the weekend. Did the Secret Service do enough? Was there a broad enough security perimeter? How did the shooter get as close as he did to the former president of the United States and manage to fire off shots at him? All of that still to be determined, guys. So a lot of questions this morning in a very tense Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Back over to you.
Okay, Eamon Javers in Milwaukee. Thank you.
And here's a look at a couple of things. Moves in the shares of Trump media this morning. It closed about 30.31 on Friday. It's bidding 46.50 this morning. That's quite a move. Indicated almost 52%. And the predicted betting contract for former President Trump to win the November election surging to 67 cents at this point. And if you're wondering who's in second place, it's now firmly back to President Biden. And if you look at predicted Dem nominee, that's been flipping back and forth, but it's solidly in President Biden's camp.
Well, to me, the question, though, is whether President Biden is still going to be the nominee come November at this point.
But the betting sites have him, but who knows? I mean,
but to me, the bigger shift is even if you think he steps out, it may be less attractive today for a Gavin Newsom or a Governor Whitmer or you name your person on the Democratic side, given, I think, what has catapulted former President Trump into this lead, that it changes the dynamic.
Oh, you mean that they wouldn't want to?
Well, it's because I'm not sure you want to be in a losing. You don't want to be on the losing side of things.
I've never seen any indication that President Biden has any doubts about staying. I've never seen anything.
I think that if you take him at his word, which maybe you do, maybe you don't, that he believes that he's the only person who can beat Trump, and at some point he starts to look at the polls and sees where they are. But as I said, if you actually look at those polls and see where you are, the next sort of iteration of that, I think, becomes much more complicated in terms of who actually could step in. I mean, we could talk about whether, it's the Kamala Harris and she get passed over and all of those issues, but even just this dynamic, I think, fundamentally changes the thing. Is there a perfect person? I'll tell you a new name that I keep hearing about, who probably doesn't have the name recognition, but I think is very interesting for this moment, Mark Kelly, Arizona. His wife, obviously, was shot. He's an astronaut. He's a military man. He's in a swing state. There's a lot of very interesting things about him. Having said that, it becomes very complicated again because he doesn't have the name recognition. And again, do you think you're on the losing side
President
of it?
Biden's in the driver's seat. He would have to decide not to do it. And even when you hear that there's people somewhere around him. They're always in the outer orbits when they concede that maybe he won't. Anybody in the inner circle hasn't shown the slightest inclination to even consider him stepping in.
There have been things that have laid out what would happen at convention where the delegates would decide not to go for him, but there has not been a candidate that all of those delegates could coalesce around. So it doesn't particularly.
And he had some solid, and he's been sort of strutting his stuff, or at least attempting to.
He's got an interview tonight with Lester Holt.
Yeah.